It was just past 2 a.m. when a group of officers stormed into a quiet home on the south side of Atlanta, expecting a routine raid. But what they didn't know was that this wasn't just any home, and the woman inside wasn't alone. By the time they realized who was waiting in the shadows, it was already too late. Janelle Carter was a single mother of two, a nurse by profession, and a proud homeowner. She'd lived in her modest two-story home for over a decade, raising her kids with strength and dignity. A quiet soul, but with a spine forged from pain, purpose, and something no badge could intimidate: legacy. What the police didn't know that night was that this house had more history than they could imagine, and more protection than they were prepared for. Earlier that week, a series of wrong house warrants had been issued in a hasty drug sweep. Someone in the system got sloppy. Janelle's address was mistakenly placed on a list, but Janelle had a guest that night: her father, Command Sergeant Major Isaiah Carter, a 32-year Army veteran decorated in both Afghanistan and Iraq, and now living out retirement in peace. Or so he hoped. That night, Janelle woke to the sound of boots on gravel and whispers outside her window. Her instincts, and years as a trauma nurse, kicked in. She quietly grabbed her phone and dialed a number on speed dial. Meanwhile, in the guest room, Isaiah was already awake. When the door burst open and 4 officers flooded in with flashlights and shouting, Isaiah was waiting behind the entryway column. Calm, composed, and armed. Not with a weapon, but with truth. Federal law requires proper warrants. He just broke into a retired combat veteran's home without one. The leader barked back, "Step aside, sir. This doesn't concern you." Isaiah took a step forward, his chest full of ribbons and scars. "You've made a mistake, and now you're going to answer for it." He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The authority in his tone was something no academy could teach. The younger officers began hesitating. One recognized the face and froze. A Medal of Honor ceremony replayed in his memory. It was him. Suddenly, another voice filled the room. It was Lieutenant Simmons, Janelle's godbrother, and a local police commander who had just arrived after her silent call. He stormed in and immediately halted the raid. "This is Command Sergeant Major Carter's residence. You raided the wrong house." The tension dropped like a stone. The officers stepped back. Apologies stumbled out, but the damage was done. Janelle held her kids tightly as Simmons made sure the officers were removed from the property. Her father stood silently by the window, watching as the red and blue lights faded into the night. The next morning, the media swarmed the neighborhood. The story went viral. A black woman, newly traumatized by an unlawful raid, only protected because the man inside was someone too powerful to ignore. But what about those without someone like Isaiah? That's the question that haunted Janelle the most. So, she started speaking out, at town halls, on radio shows, and on the steps of City Hall. She used her voice, and her father's name, to make sure no other woman in her neighborhood had to live in fear of her own front door. Because that night wasn't just about a mistaken address. It was a turning point. For a woman, for a father, and for a broken system that finally got a lesson in justice it would never forget. If this story moved you, share it, because behind every headline, there's a real family, a real home, and a real hero. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more powerful true stories that demand to be heard.